welcome back to Inspire to Inspire. Oh my God, it's been a long time, but today I have a special. Make sure you first share the link to everybody because today it's a fire, if I can say. Today, Inspire to Inspire presents the Table of Connection. I have here with the beautiful girls, the women of God in the studio. I'm sure they're gonna present themselves today. I just have to introduce and. Let me start on my left side. You're going to tell us your name.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessica and I'm one of the presenters of Table of Connection.
Hi Jess. And on my right side.
Donc, bonjour tout le monde, moi mon nom c'est Eunice et je suis la présentatrice de l'émission Table of Connection.
Salut Eunice.
Hey.
All right, today it's a special day that we are going to present or to talk about something called a calling. What is a calling? So last Tuesday, the Table of Connection talked about, I'm sure it's Jess, you've been going to talk about a little bit of something that you talked about, so that the people who weren't there or who didn't watch, they may be able to know exactly what you talked about. So before we even start, I just want to say, what is a calling to you?
That's my question.
start
All
with
right.
you.
Okay. So, like you said, yes, last week I did start talking about God's calling. So, for those who haven't seen it, you can watch it on Table of Connection. So, it's really I talked about an introduction. So, different types of anointing that you can have, and for you guys to understand that better. But for the question about what is a calling, for me, a calling is something that God has placed inside of us. So we're all born differently. God has created us differently with something special inside of us, and it's for us to answer to that calling. And the calling is something that you will do for eternity. As soon as you discover what it is, it's like you're working with it through your life. It's a job, you know. As like example, some people, they go to school in order to know what's their competence, what's their capabilities, so that they can know, okay, I'm good at mathematics, I will know that I will work in the finance, I will know I will work in something that has to do with marketing. So you go to school to understand what's your strength in order for you to apply that in the real life as a job. So it's the same thing in the spiritual life. You go to church so that you can understand what is your gift, and with that gift you answer God's calling, and you apply it in your spiritual life until the end. That's for me.
Great. I heard something you said, but before I ask you a question, I know we all have different callings, right? I may have my calling, you have your own, she has her own, but you can even we're gonna balance. You can speak in French.
Yes.
So what is a calling to you?
Ok, donc comme Bella vient de me demander c'est quoi l'appel pour moi, donc l'appel, tout d'abord, je pourrais dire que ça fait partie de l'identité d'un chrétien, une chrétienne. Donc ça fait partie aussi de quelque chose qui nous différencie des personnes qui sont à l'extérieur, qui sont dans le monde, comparé à d'autres personnes qui sont à l'église. Je ne pourrais pas dire que c'est l'identité totale de chaque personne, mais ça fait partie. Comme Jessica l'a dit, c'est aussi quelque chose que le Seigneur a mis en nous. Ça se développe jour par jour. Donc, c'est pas comme si l'année passée, j'ai su que j'étais destinée à faire ça, ça que le Seigneur m'a mis l'année passée, que c'est complet, mais ça se développe et à plus forte raison, ça continue dans le moment de développement, ça se multiplie aussi et ça commence à impacter. Donc, l'appel aussi, ça fait partie de nos outils de combat. C'est comme un outil de combat dans le monde extérieur, je pourrais dire, pour pouvoir être différent de toutes ces personnes-là. Et aussi, je dirais aussi, c'est un privilège d'être parmi toutes ces personnes qui ont cet appel et répondre à cet appel aussi. Donc, c'est ça que je dirais pour moi, l'appel.
Oh, you said something that it connects to something she said. You said it's something that grows up, that develops every day,
Yes.
day by day. And you also said that it's a calling, it's you compare it to the way that a person has to go in school, to know your strength, So, I have questions for you guys. And feel free, right? We're going to make it open so that everybody, there's some people who, somewhere you were before you discovered your calling, right? I just want you to put yourself in the shoes of that person, so that we're just doing this to help the person who didn't discover yet their callings, right? So I also talk about myself, I mean, I'll give an example of what I understand by calling and how did I discover one of the calling that I have. So, what I heard about you, so what you said, it's like everybody has a calling, right? But how for you? How did you know, or if you can give us an example of your calling, and how did you say it your calling? You know, I give an example to a phone. For me, the definition of a calling, I mean, I'm not gonna go far. Like when a phone rings, right? Or if I call a person, and then a phone rings, it's, you know, before it rings, it just shows you like it's calling, right? And then it start ringing because it's connected. When your phone is off, it can show me that it's ringing. You have to be connected that the phone can ring, right? So the same way to God, God is calling everybody. Everyone is being called, right? But the thing is, how are you answering? It just needs, if I call you with my phone and you pick me, if you don't know the person who's calling you, then you're confused or you don't know how to answer the calling. But if you know the person who is calling you, then you answer, even before you even discover what the person is going to tell you, but you already know that you know the person. The same way in the spiritual life, God is calling everybody, you know? And the thing is for you to discover who is calling you and trust what he's going to tell you. So, giving that example, for you, what's your calling and how did you answer?
I really like your example. It's a really good way to see it. Like example, when someone calls you, sometimes we have private numbers or no ID callers who can call you and you're scared to answer, and you tend not to answer the phone because you see, I don't know that person, I'm not going to answer. By opening and answering that person, you never know what the blessing is behind it. So God can call you to do something. Because you don't know God, you don't want to answer the phone. So the first thing that you have to do is actually know him, get closer to him so that you can understand what he has called you to do. And I started becoming closer to God, and I started knowing myself. So I said, okay, what's the thing that I like to do, you know? And the things that we do, we always have to use it to glorify God. So me, I'm a person with not like a sensible heart, you know. I love helping people, and I love helping people that are that have less than me. And I know God is using that so that I can help him do what he has called me to do. So when I was around 14 years old, that's when God has called me to do something. And because I was young, I thought that I was not capable. I didn't have the abilities. The enemy tried to, influence my identity, saying that you're too young to do it. You know, older people can do it. Why me? But God can call you at any age. Because I was 14 years old. Yes, I'm young. Yes, he called me to do something big, but he was by my side. So everything is possible through Christ. You know. So when I was 14 years old, I had a feeling that I wanted to help people in Rwanda who were disabled and who needed prosthesis. So I started building a project. I started doing my research. I started calling people, and God already made a way. It was really easy for me to access and to find the people. I thought it was going to be a complicated thing. That's how I knew that it's meant to be, because it was just easy like that, you know. Even the name of the ONG was called Handicap International. So that's their main thing, helping disabled people, and that's what I really wanted to do. God has placed this thing in my heart, and I've been doing it for more than 5 years. So every year I collect money and help people who need prosthesis, and we help around 20 people every year. So it's been 5 years. So 20 times 5, like 100 people. So I've helped 100 people, not me by myself, but God has placed people in my life as well. Exactly. I have this calling in myself, and God will place people in your life to help you with that calling. But there's not only, it doesn't mean that you only have one calling. I may have many callings, but that's one of the callings that God has placed in my heart, and I have answered when I was 14 years old. So if I would have let the enemy confuse me with my age, I wouldn't have helped more than 100 people today, you know. And I know it's not me, but it's God through me that has helped them, and they have their life has changed dramatically. Now they are able to walk. You know how we say that God can change a situation by using one person. It's not that person, it's not me, but it's God through me. That person is able to walk again. That person is able to have a normal life. That person may have a job. So because I was young, it doesn't matter, you know, your age doesn't matter. So that's really what my advice is for people who are looking at me. Your age doesn't matter. He can call you when you're 12, when you're 9, when you're 10, you're 25, when you're 58, when you're 87. Your age doesn't matter. When God chooses a person, he chooses because of that thing that you have inside of you, and not because of your age.
Wow. Wow. I like that. I think you will even show us, show people, so they can keep going. And I encourage you to keep going. Right. Yeah, I need you also because they're different callings. Different callings. So I just want you two to tell us your calling and how did you say yes? How did you pick up the call for the calling from God?
Ok, wow. En français encore. Donc, moi, je dirais, je vais rester, I'm gonna stay in the same spirit. Sur le téléphone, l'exemple du téléphone. Tu sais, quand, par exemple, tu reçois un appel, comme tu l'as dit, tu reçois un appel de quelqu'un, des fois, ça se pourrait que c'est une personne que tu évites. Je vais mélanger encore avec du Kinyarwanda. Donc, ça se pourrait que c'est une personne umuntu uriko urahunga udashaka kubona. Yes, umuntu aguma guhamagara mugabo ntushaka kwitaba. Donc, pour moi, ça veut dire que c'est comme s'il y a eu l'appel, mais parce que quand tu dors puis tu reçois un appel, t'as pas envie de répondre maintenant. Ça te tente pas parce que t'es endormi, tu veux pas répondre maintenant. Donc, ça veut dire que beaucoup de fois, j'ignorais le même appel. C'est très bizarre de dire ça maintenant, mais je me sens comme si j'étais en retard parce que j'ai ignoré l'appel beaucoup de fois. Pourquoi moi je dirais ça? Parce que comparé à Jessica, je pense que pour elle, ça marche avec Jésus, ça a commencé récemment comparé à moi qui étais dedans plus longtemps. Mais pour dire que j'ai été en retard parce que j'avais ignoré l'appel. Mais en revenant sur l'exemple, wa muntu uri kurahunga udashaka kwitaba muzahurira ahantu muzohurira kwibarabara and you have to talk to the person. Utegerezwa kumuvugisha, tu dois parler avec cette personne. Donc il y a eu un moment, alors je me suis retrouvée moi devant l'appel et je peux plus échapper à l'appel. Je dois faire face avec. Donc je pense que c'est à ce moment-là que j'ai compris que des fois, on essaie de fuir l'appel que nous avons eu, comme Jessica a dit. Quand tu acceptes, parce que on a tendance à nous dire que c'est lourd, que c'est impossible. Comme Jessica l'a dit, à regarder l'âge, à regarder ton entourage, à regarder qui tu es, de la famille dont tu sors, l'argent que tu as. Mais finalement, quand tu acceptes, c'est là où tu vois que c'était déjà un chemin qui était tracé. Donc, pour moi, alors, le moment où j'ai su que c'était vraiment, qu'il y avait un appel que le Seigneur avait mis en moi, c'était vraiment, il n'y a pas longtemps de cela. Donc, il y a vraiment pas longtemps de cela parce que, comme j'ai dit, il y avait beaucoup de fois que j'avais ignoré cet appel. Donc, c'est que j'ai su que dans plusieurs choses que le Seigneur a pu me mettre mettre en moi. Je pense que c'était le don de pouvoir chanter. Vous savez, au début, je me négligeais parce que je me disais, il y a Tasha Cobbs qui chante mieux. Mais après ça, j'ai compris à force d'être dans la présence du Seigneur, j'ai commencé à comprendre que, en fait, l'appel, ça ne dépend pas de qui a la belle voix ou qui n'a pas la belle voix. Ça dépend vraiment de le Saint-Esprit, de la sémence qui est en toi. So, c'est pour cela que des fois, on se focalise à mettre nos yeux sur ce que nous voyons. C'est pour cela que nous avons tendance à ne pas savoir ce que nous avons devant nous. En fait, c'est ça notre bénédiction. En fait, c'est ça notre outil, comme je l'avais dit avant. C'est ça ton identité. Et c'est comme cela que la plupart des jeunes, la plupart des chrétiens s'opèrent parce qu'on a raté, on a pu rater l'occasion de saisir l'appel. Parce qu'à un moment donné, l'appel qui est devant toi, à un moment donné, elle va partir, puis tu auras raté l'opportunité. Donc, c'est ça que moi, je dirais que à ce moment-là, j'ai su, comment dire oui à l'appel qui m'avait été destiné.
Wow, wow. You mentioned about something, and I really want to talk about that. So, you see the way when a person calls you when you're sleeping, you know, when you call me, I'm tired, or depending on whichever reasons, you know, there are many reasons that you cannot pick a call, right? You might be sleeping, you might be tired, you have a lot of things, right? Which may lead you to not, for example, when I call you, having those reasons that I talked about, and you may not answer my call. The same way it's happening to people, the same way it happened to us before we answered to the callings, there are many external, how do I say this? External factors that can lead you not to answer to the call, right? With the same way it happens to the people of God or to everyone who has a calling, they have reasons, right? I liked also what you said about regardless of the age you had, you know, you had 14, you said?
I was 14, yes.
She was 14 and she had to answer to that. I mean, there's another person out there having that age, which is like you are delaying. For example, if you would not have answered the question, do you think those 100 people would have been saved, who have got the...
Before, honestly, I tried to, like a bit like Ernest said, I tried not to answer because I was like, I'm too young, you know? But that thing was in my heart for so long. That's how I realized that I need to do it, because I would think about it for so long, for like the whole year, and I was like, why am I still thinking about this? There's a reason why I'm still thinking about doing this, you know? Maybe it's God who's telling me, I'm calling you to do this, and you need to do this because I have chose you to do this. Yes, he could have chose my brother, my sister, my cousins, my grandparents, anyone, but he chose me for a reason, you know? The same way that you may think why me, you know? Person can have this, that person can do this, but he called you for a reason. The same way, like Eunice was saying that she discovered that she has this gift of singing, and she told herself, but I don't have this voice, you know? I'm not Tasha Combs or I'm not Sinach, but like she said, it's the Spirit that's going to lead your voice. You know, when you have the Holy Spirit and there's a difference, first of all, between singers and worshipers. Yes. That's something that we need to talk about.
Ça, c'est un autre sujet.
Ça, c'est un autre sujet, but we need to talk about this. There's a difference between a singer and a worshiper. Right. And when someone worship, like, it's not even their voice, it's the Holy Spirit who's guiding them, and by their voice, deliverance happens. Someone can receive their delivery. Someone can receive, they can be set free. Their chains are going to be broken. Curses that has been there from generation can be broken. Someone can receive a healing, you know. So there's a difference between singers from the world who sings for entertainment and worshipers.
And the worshiper, yeah.
So maybe you think, I don't have a voice like this person, this artist, or this R&B artist, or this gospel. Your voice can lead to deliver 100 of people, 1,000 people. Your voice may open doors for you to go in Europe, for you to go to America and Africa. God can use you to go everywhere around the world. Exactly. To do your, you know, that might be your calling, like Eunice was saying. That might be your calling. You may be called to, with your voice, to go everywhere around the world.
Je pense que moi j'ai une question. Je sais que c'est toi l'invité, mais non, c'est toi le host. Mais je vais quand même. Je pense qu'on est tenté d'aller très très loin. Tout compte déjà coulé. Je veux juste que déjà ce que nous faisons maintenant, être assis sur cette plateforme de Inspire to Inspire, c'est un appel. Déjà là, c'est vraiment un appel parce que il y a une façon que Bella a commencé, il y a une façon que Jessica a commencé, il y a une façon que Inspire to Inspire a été mise en place, il y a une façon que Table of Connection a vu le jour. Donc, je pense qu'il y a des gens maintenant qui nous suivent, qui aimeraient savoir, est-ce que Bella est allée dans une école de journalisme? Est-ce que Jessica a pris des cours d'être sur la télé, des émissions, ou bien est-ce qu'elle avait une émission préférée, ou bien comme tu l'as dit depuis longtemps, l'appel que tu as de All White, c'était dans ton cœur depuis longtemps. Est-ce que le fait de créer d'être dans une plateforme de jeunesse, en train de répandre la bonne nouvelle, en train de faire un show pour la jeunesse, est-ce que c'était dans ton cœur déjà à la base? Il y a des gens qui se demandent ces questions, parce que personnellement, j'en ai reçu beaucoup qui me disaient, est-ce que vous avez fait l'école? Est-ce que vous avez pris des cours de journalisme? Je pense que ça serait mieux qu'on puisse enlever cette confusion devant toutes ces personnes qui se demandent ça. On va...
I will let Bella start.
Bella va
since, it's your
commencer.
show.
Okay. Boom. Uh-huh. So, wow. So I was about to ask that question actually.
There's a connection,
Okay,
no?
Type of connection. Now we're here. Okay, all right. First of all, like I said, God calls everybody, you know, and He just needs you to say yes or to answer to the calling, right? So the moment, which I'm gonna say, I'm gonna include like the things that I say, which are needed for you to answer the calling. You know, there's the location, as in the place where you are. There's the time, and there is submitting. You know, so when I talk about the location, it's where are you now? You said something about when you're sleeping and somebody calls, you don't pick the call because you don't want to pick the call because you're tired, you need to sleep, right? That's a location where you are. You are sleeping, right? That's an excuse that you are giving to the calling, to somebody calling, right? So before, the reason why maybe I didn't answer to the calling. Wait, maybe I'm going to talk about the table. The inspired to inspire. Wow, the inspired to inspire. The inspired to inspire today. So it's that reason. So the calling. I mean, how did I answer to that? I had to be in the right place, right? And that was the right time because I was in the right place. So God, something was in me. This is what I'm saying. Everybody has a calling. But the place where you are, the location where you are, it's not because it cannot work there, but it just needs you to be in a place that God, you know, needs to manifest or needs to pull up the thing which is inside of you to come out, right? So I started the Inspire to Inspire this year. So I can say I was in the right place, but I didn't have the excuses. Like you said, when you're being called by a person and you're sleeping, you don't pick to the call. Before, I was not picking the call. Not that that thing was not in me, but I was not in the right place, you know? So I had to be in the right place so that I can pick the call. So when I was in the right place, then you may get different ways of answering to the call. Maybe a person, you say, a person can tell you this, you know, something was burning in me. Actually, I did not study about journalism or what. No way. I have never been on TV, you know. It's just something when God has put something in you. I mean, He provides, you know. You don't have, I would have given those excuses. Like you said, you'd have given the excuses. Like, I was young. I couldn't help people. They're older than me. They're what, you know. Me too, I would have said, but before I was even shy or what. I mean, saying I'm going into TV or what. But I would talk to people. But that would be like my reason. I'm like, going on a TV? I was like, no. But I had to put that excuse aside and answer to the calling. So that was, I had to be in the right time. It was in the right time and the right place, right? When you're in the right place, and then the time is that what time, this thing, it's like the calling, it's the calling of God, right? So you cannot just give it to the dogs outside or somebody right there just to, don't use it well to help people, right? So I had to be somewhere to grow, to be feeded, if I can say, and then something out of me comes out, which I can say this is the right place, right? So Bishop had to help me, and the thing come out of me, right? So I had a lot of excuses, a lot a lot. I remember even my first time, my first time on the on TV. Oh my God! I mean, miserable.
It's a process.
Yeah, it was a process, you know. So I was like, no, I would stop. Wait, you know, I do something else, or I stop before time. But it needs you to be in the right place, and in the right time, something comes out of you.
Wow.
So that would be my.
J'aurais dû
Wow,
amener mon
malheur.
cahier pour écrire.
We are taking notes,
Ooh.
but I think it's a really great example, a great way that you explain how you entered your calling into starting Inspire to Inspire. And about me, I can say a bit the same thing, but I had a little I had a path that was a bit different, because when Bishop asked me to do a show, I thought he was joking. I was like, me? Like, because I was brand new into the church, I was brand new into the place, and I was still learning, you know. That's when the moment when I started walking my my journey with God. So I thought I was not the right person, or I was not fit, you know. But that's my plan, but that's not God's plans, you know. It's two different things. My plans was just to, you know, still learning and just be in the back, but God wanted to put me, you know, put me and use me for someone else who's looking at me, you know. So I really thought that it was a joke, but Bishop was very serious. He's like, no, like, you're gonna do this, you're gonna be an example to young people. And I already have this thing inside of me of help, you know, being with young people and helping young people. So already God has put something inside of me that he wanted to multiply and he wanted to use. So because I thought, why me again? The same situation happened. Why me? Why not this person? Ernest also was brought up for the part, and I was like, why can't Ernest do it by herself? Why I have to be there? But me and Ernest, we have this connection that God wants to use, you know. And so I asked myself, why me? But God knows exactly that you're fit for the job. It's like, example, if I can give an example, I always give examples, but you know, when you want a job, so you're gonna send your CV to this job, right? And the boss is gonna see all of the application of everyone, but he knows exactly who's fit properly for the job. So when you send your CV, he looks at all the qualification that's inside of you, or the experience that you have inside of you. So there may be so many people that can be called to do something, but God has already chose one person or another person to do it, and putting them together, it's going to create this, you know, this blessings for other people. So God has put something inside of me, and because I have this qualification, I was fit for the job. But I didn't realize that I was fit for the job. Actually, I didn't even realize that I had what it takes to be a presenter, you know. It's when I started, like you, when I started, that I started saying, oh, I'm really comfortable talking, you know, talking. I didn't know that. I'm a person who's extremely shy, so I always knew that this shyness inside of me had to leave. I'm a bit reserved. I don't like talking, you know, in front of people. But I surprisingly, I found myself talking really comfortably in front of the TV, and then I never thought that I would be super stressed out. The first time I was stressing out, I was sweating. I was like, oh my goodness, you know, the first time. But then as soon as they turn on the cameras, oh, hi, how are you? My name is Jessica from Table of Connection. As if nothing happened, but I was stressed out. I was able to control that. So like I said before, the qualification that you have, God knows exactly what's, you know, it knows exactly what's inside of you, and you have to trust God's plans, because God's plan is not your plan, and he can open a door for you that you never thought that you would be walking. I would never thought that I would have a show with Ernest called Table of Connection, and also we started this year, and I know God has great plans for Table of Connection as well.
Amen.
Amen.
You're the one
Wow.
who posed the question. Go ahead.
Ok. Donc, tout d'abord, moi, je vais commencer depuis le début un peu, un résumé. Tout d'abord, moi et Jessica, on ne se connaissait pas. Je connaissais pas Jessica. Jessica ne me connaissait pas. Elle venait à l'église normalement. Elle rentrait. La vie est belle. Mais la connexion, parce que ça fait partie aussi de la raison pour laquelle on appelait ça Table of Connection. Je ne sais pas si ça s'appelle, comment on a trouvé le nom. C'était une blague.
C'est toi qui avais trouvé le nom.
Oui, parce que
Yeah.
j'étais assis, j'étais comme, ah, ben on peut appeler ça Table of Connection. Elle était comme, oh oui, on peut appeler ça Table of Connection. J'étais comme, est-ce que c'est vrai ou c'est une blague? Parce que tout d'abord, pour moi, j'ai pris ça au sérieux parce que c'était une confiance que Bishop avait eue en nous euh, au milieu de beaucoup de personnes. Donc, je sais au début, Jessica m'appelait tout le temps, 3 heures du matin. Elle me demandait, est-ce que c'est vrai que Bishop veut vraiment qu'on présente l'émission? Mais j'ai dit, je suis dans le même état que toi, je ne sais pas. Donc, la première fois qu'on avait fait l'émission, c'était incroyable. Comme elle a dit, on s'est mis sur la caméra, on a commencé à parler. On était supposé parler pendant 30 minutes. On a parlé pendant 1 heure. Une... On a parlé pendant 1 heure, on ne s'arrêtait pas. Et vraiment, ce qui nous a encouragés, c'était les feedbacks qu'on avait eus après. Donc, c'est là où on a compris vraiment que Table of Connection, c'était vraiment nous. Et à cause de ça, ça nous a permis de commencer à voir loin, à commencer à ne pas regarder pendant 2 mois, 3 mois, mais on a commencé à regarder dans 3 ans, dans 5 ans, où est-ce que Table of Connection sera. Donc, tout ce qu'on fait, tous nos invités, tous les efforts qu'on met, c'est pour vraiment savoir dans 3 ans, dans 5 ans, dans 6 ans, Table of Connection sera où. Donc, pour nous, pour l'instant, je pense que l'un des objectifs qu'on avait eu, c'est vraiment de laisser la place à d'autres personnes parce qu'il y aura un moment que nous aussi, on va pouvoir partir et laisser les autres venir prendre cette place de Table of Connection. Donc, je pourrais dire c'est un héritage qu'on est en train de faire pour les autres jeunes qui sont comme nous. L'autre chose que je dirais pour l'émission Table of Connection, on n'a jamais appris à être sur la caméra. Je me rappelle notre première fois, on était en train d'essayer, on était avec Bishop, on était assis. Il a allumé la caméra, on venait juste de quitter le bureau. Il a allumé la caméra, il a dit « Allez parler maintenant ». Et je me rappelle, on était assis, puis on ne bougeait pas, on était comme ça. Oui. Puis là, on devait parler, je m'appelle. Donc, c'était vraiment... je dirais, inconnu pour nous. C'était un monde que nous, on n'était pas habitués à voir. Mais le moment où on a su vraiment que ça ne dépend pas de Jessica, ça ne dépend pas de moi, mais ça dépend de ce que le Seigneur avait mis en nous. C'est ça qui nous a montré que quand on est assis ici, c'est pas nous, mais c'est vraiment le Saint-Esprit. Parce que si ça dépendait de nous, on n'est pas qualifié pour être devant toutes ces personnes. Donc, c'est très compliqué à expliquer aux gens comment 2 personnes peuvent faire ce que nous faisons. Normalement, ce que nous faisons, il y en a beaucoup qui font 5 ans d'école pour être là où nous sommes, être devant la caméra, s'habituer, mais nous, on l'a fait combien?
It just proves that I said a bit, there's a connection between what she's saying and me. It proves that sometimes you don't need to go to school to, it's what God has put inside of you, you know, and you use it. So God has put inside of us something that we can use, and He has put something inside of you. So, and He created a platform for you to use it, you know, to enter the calling, so that you can also attract other people into the message of God. So comme Eunice a dit, on n'a pas été formés. Oui, on a été formés de base. We've been formed like how to speak, how to, you know, how to dress, how to use the camera, how to talk, what's the good manners to do certain things. We've been formed the basics, but we've never been to school. We never had like a year of formation. We just started it because that's how you do it. You just start and you go and you say yes.
Ouais, c'est absolument ça. Donc, je pense que c'est comme Bella, comme Jessica aussi, vous l'avez dit, c'était vraiment répondre à un appel. On était tous dans la bonne place, au bon moment. Donc, c'était comme si... je pense qu'on devait vraiment éternellement, je dirais, de remercier toujours notre Père spirituel, parce que nos émissions, ça a été, je dirais, une porte qui a ouvert plusieurs portes. Donc, c'est quelque chose qui nous a permis que les gens puissent nous connaître, parce que je me rappelle quand on nous apprenait qu'on va être des figures publiques. Pour moi, c'était le stress, parce que ça veut dire que tout change. Donc, ça veut dire tout ce que tu fais, tout ce que tu dis, là où tu vas, avec qui tu marches, la vie change. Donc, tout d'abord, c'est vraiment rendre grâce et vraiment à le remercier à chaque fois parce que c'est une confiance qu'il a eue en nous. C'est pas parce qu'on était mieux que les autres, c'est pas parce on avait quelque chose qui était mieux que les autres, mais en fait, c'était parce que il a eu confiance en nous parmi beaucoup de personnes et il nous a mis devant ici et maintenant on est en train d'être une bénédiction pour vous qui nous regardez maintenant. Donc voilà.
Wow. Wow. You guys said some things, and I really want to talk about that. But before, it's just I want us to talk about the challenges. We talked about, but we're just passing by, you know. So you said about how I mean, when I said about the location, it's just because it depends on where you're standing. If you're standing with people not helping you to bring out something inside of you, then you are in a wrong place. You know, you're not in the right place to let the thing inside of you to come out, right? You guys have to be here, and Bishop had to help you because you were in the right place and with the right people. Right, so they can see that thing. If you're not in the right place, then the person cannot be able to discover what's inside of you. Right. So my question for everybody who is watching us: where are you standing? What's your location? What's your place? For you to let the calling inside of you to come out.
Yes.
You know.
I want to add as well, who are you standing with? Because that's also really important. You may stand with people, a group of people who may bring confusion into you. You will follow their steps, but that's not the path that God wants you to take. So who are you standing with? It's really important because when you're standing with the right people, then it's easy for you to actually understand your calling. Because you know, we were talking about you have to be at the right time, at the right place, but it's hard for you to be at the right place if you're not standing with the right people, you know, because some people can bring you at the wrong place and that, you know, and you may be in the confusion and you may delay your calling, but you really need to understand, okay, where should I go? God, lead me. Bring me the people that you want me to be with, you know. I'm always outside. I'm always partying. I'm always doing this. It's hard for me. When you're always outside and you're always partying, obviously you don't have, you make enough time with God, reading his Bible, reading his scriptures, trying to figure out, okay, what are the revelation that I'm receiving by reading my Bible? Oh, maybe I'm called to become like Daniel, or maybe I'm called to become like David, you know. Like, you need to take the time, and then obviously God is going to bring you people, like young people, friends. Like, God has brought you in my life, you know, and God has brought Ernest in my life, and I understood by me being in contact with Ernest, that's when my calling has started with Table of Connection. I was at the right place at the right moment with the right person. So that's another thing that I wanted to add.
You say that, and I know a proverb which says, tell me your friends and I tell you who you are, right? So me, if I see you and I see your friends, for example, it would help me to know who you are, right? Then if you're in the right place and you are in that's the right time, you're doing the things, then I can be able to say you are in the right place, right? Because of the people you are with, you're hanging up with, you know. So, before, I mean, this journey is not over. You coming here, you're not talking about the end, right? You're just talking about, I just want you to talk about some things that you guys have experienced, right? Because there's a person there who haven't answered to the calling and they really want to, right? The thing is just pick the call. And there's something you said about, and I want to relate it. We gave an example which is so good. We gave an example of picking a call. If I pick a call, it's another thing that came up in my mind. If I pick a call and a person, for example, I give an example to a calling from when you call me in my phone, and I pick your call, and then what you're telling me, right? I don't have to know what you're gonna tell me for me to pick the call, right? When she said about when a number like no ID called you, and then you're like, sometimes you don't want to pick up, or some people prefer to pick them up, you know. But the thing that I want to say, you don't have to have all the qualification or what to answer to the calling, you know. I'm saying on the calling of God, not the calling of of people, you know. You don't have, like, for example, it's just the confidence that you have. Who are you trusting to the person who is calling you? When it's God, you have to trust it because it's for good, it's not for bad, right? So when God is calling you, we have now known that we are all having the callings in us, right? The thing is, answer. Not that for people, I mean, this is a big challenge, which I want you guys to tell me the challenges you ever faced, and you know, so which is the thing that, for example, if I pick a call, or I'm like, oh, I'm answering to God, I just want to serve God, I want to walk into the calling of God, the people bring up the excuses which we've been talking about, which is like the challenges, right? For example, you say, okay, I'm not able, the age or the external factors, right? And then it leads you not to answer to the calling. Oh, you are delaying. She said it's not for 5 years. You just have to look ahead. You don't have to look, okay, right? For example, when you guys started the table of connection, you weren't looking like what you had. Because if you would have looked like whichever you had or what you had in your hands, you guys should not, you would have not kept going, you know? Because it was, you were not able, right? But just you answered, you trusted that God who called you is going to help you. So tell me the challenges that you ever faced, and in choosing or in answering the calling. Maybe you can talk about 2 or 3, and you too, because I know you guys are, you're together, right? You do the table of connection together, but maybe the challenge, you do it together, but tell me your own challenges, or you may be having the same. I just want to know that it may help the person following us to answer their callings.
All right, so that's a really good question, and I think it's really important so that because we're not perfect, we're not perfect, you know. Obviously, our person who has called to do something is not perfect. So me, when I understand one of my calling to become as a presenter, I just got out of the world, you know. I just got out of the world, and I just accepted, like, really walked my journey with God, you know. So to me, the challenges was, how would people see me, you know, or would people compare me with the old life that I have? That was a big challenge, because now, as Ernest said, we have become public figures, so people still see me in the past, or they're like confused, but that's not me anymore, you know. Some people still they still look at me as just the old Jessica, and now they're confused because now I portray myself differently. Actually, I've been washed, and I have the image that God wants me to become, and I had to accept that, which was not easy, but that was a challenge for me to truly accept it. It took some time. I would say it took a few months for me to actually fully accept God, what God has called me to do, and really let my old life in the past and continue. Yeah, some people may come and tell me, oh, you're the type of you're Jessica who did this in the past, you did this in the past, as I'm doing the show and I'm talking about God. Yeah, sometimes it hurts me, you know, because I don't want people to recognize or to remember me as the old Jessica, but to see the evolution. Yes, I used to do that, but look at me now. I'm no longer in that place. I'm different now. So that was a challenge, you know, people reminding me those stuff, and people who think that I'm still like that person, and then they say things about me. No matter what, you know, people will always say things about you, because, you know, even Jesus in the Bible, they said so many things about him. So if they persecuted him, imagine us, you know. So that's something that it's part of the journey, but God has giving me the army that I need to be able to face that. So that was one of the challenges that was really hard for me, but I overcome that, and I'm still walking through with God, because when you walk with God, everything is possible. He has placed a new strength inside of me that I didn't know that I had. So so fully accepting and really remembering who am I doing this with. I'm not doing this for people. I'm like for people, but I'm doing this for God, to help people. I'm not doing this to please people or please this person. Really, it's for God. Even though people may say things about you, but God knows the truth, you know. He knows my past, and he truly knows that I have changed. So that's one of the main challenges for people who really want to quit things that they're doing in the world, and you want to step into your journey with God. It is possible. Do not let people bring you down. Do not let people put a label into your name or label your life, because they don't know your life, but accept really Jesus Christ as your God and your Savior, and really walk in the journey with God. Because as I started walking with my journey with God, that's when doors have opened. The first month. And that's why I asked and I told Ernest, why me? Because I have accepted and I've walked with, as soon as you walk, then doors open.
Wow.
You need to do one step in order for God to do the rest, I did one step towards God and he opened so many doors for me and he did the rest. And this is where I am today.
Wow, wow. I like what you say is you just need one step, which is even what's written in the Bible. God requires us to just take the one step, and the 99, it's His. You know why? Why didn't God say like 5 steps? Because He knew that we're not, for you or for me, you don't have to be like having a lot, Only you, what you have to say, answer to the calling, and then He will guide you, So, Anis, go ahead and tell us.
Tout d'abord, je vais approuver ce que Jessica a dit parce que ce qu'elle a dit, oui, c'est vrai, parce que je pense que c'est elle qui a eu plus ce problème d'être jugée au début pour ce qu'elle était dans le passé et ce qu'elle est aujourd'hui. Mais je rends grâce à Dieu aussi qu'elle a pu traverser tout ça, parce que je sais qu'au début, c'était quand même difficile. Mais je rends grâce à Dieu parce que elle était dans la bonne place. Elle était au bon moment, donc il y avait aussi la couverture, il y avait une protection, divine qui était sur elle, parce que si le diable voulait l'attaquer, il aurait pu dévoiler tout ce qui était caché. Donc c'est ça qui montre que tu étais et tu es encore dans les mains du Seigneur. Donc pour répondre à ta question, Bella, le plus grand défi que je dirais que j'ai dû faire face durant ce parcours dans l'émission, d'être la présentatrice de l'émission Table of Connection, c'était de rester dans le bon chemin, rester tout droit. Pourquoi je dis ça? Parce que ce que nous faisons ici, on n'est pas des journalistes de TVA. On n'est pas des journalistes qui racontent c'est qui a volé qui, c'est quel dépanneur qui a été volé. C'est pas ça que nous disons, mais nous sommes en train d'évangéliser. Donc ça veut dire que la première chose, quand on prend son microphone, on est assis ici, on dit bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue à l'émission Table of Connection. Ça veut dire que avant d'être devant vous, on doit d'abord vivre une vie de sainteté, une vie de sanctification. Pourquoi je dis ça? Je vais donner un exemple sur la présentatrice que tout le monde connaît, Oprah. Elle fait des émissions comme nous. Elle s'assoit aussi, on met des caméras, on met tout, on fait le setup, tout. Mais elle, c'est une inspiration pour beaucoup de personnes. Mais non seulement nous, on est une inspiration, mais aussi une bénédiction. Donc, automatiquement, quand on est assis ici, on devient un sacrifice vivant pour toutes ces personnes-là. Donc, ça veut dire que ce que moi, je vais dire, ce que Bella va dire, ça doit être des mots qui vont pouvoir fortifier une personne qui nous regarde. Donc, ça veut dire qu'avant d'être assis ici, on doit d'abord être fortifié. Donc, ça veut dire que c'est la parole qui est dans la Bible qui dit « On ne vit plus pour nous, mais c'est Christ qui vit en nous. » Donc, ça veut dire qu'il y a longtemps de cela, on ne regarde plus c'est quoi qui va mal ou qui va pas mal. Quand on va mal ou quand on va bien, on est toujours là parce qu'on a décidé de vivre une vie de sacrifice. Parce que ce que nous faisons ici, c'est un sacrifice. Donc, c'est ça qui était l'une des choses les plus difficiles, je dirais, pour nous, parce que ça nous a demandé plus d'efforts. Peut-être pour les autres émissions du monde, ça ne demande pas de pouvoir prendre des prières pour prier. Parce que nous, ce que nous délivrons, ça c'est prêcher. Comme un pasteur qui ne peut pas venir prêcher un dimanche sans se préparer. Il faut qu'il aille parler avec le Seigneur la veille. Seigneur, c'est quoi que tu veux que je dise à ces personnes-là? Il y a beaucoup de personnes qui nous regardent. Il y a beaucoup de personnes partout dans le monde qui ont besoin d'entendre une parole que Bella va dire aujourd'hui, Jessica va dire aujourd'hui. Donc, ça veut dire que si on vient devant vous, puis on est rempli de haine, on est rempli de jalousie, on est rempli de, je ne pourrais pas nommer quoi, c'est ça qu'on va vous délivrer. Donc, si j'ai la sémence de jalousie, c'est ça que je vais pouvoir donner aux personnes qui nous regardent. Donc, c'est ça qui a pu être l'une des défis parce que on a été obligé de vivre une vie de sainteté, une vie de sanctification. Euh, Dans le moment aussi, parce que moi et Jessica, on faisait l'émission ensemble, la
On fait
chose...
encore l'émission
On
ensemble.
fait, on fait encore l'émission ensemble. Donc, la chose qui était la plus primordiale, c'est que je devais être en paix toujours avec elle et devait être en paix avec moi parce que c'est table of connection. Donc, la connexion commençait par nous. Après, la connexion va aller avec d'autres personnes. Donc, si moi et elle, elle était au sud, j'étais au nord, elle est au courant, l'émission n'allait pas bien se passer. Mais si ce jour-là, on est sur le même chemin, on voit tout de la même façon, il y a la connexion, table of connection est là. Donc, ça fait partie des plus grands défis parce qu'on est des hommes. On porte la chair. Des fois, on est dans la faiblesse. Des fois, on a beaucoup de choses qui nous troublent. Mais comme j'ai dit, il y a longtemps de cela, on ne considère plus toutes ces choses-là parce qu'on est devenu un sacrifice pour toutes ces personnes qui nous regardent. On a décidé de se sacrifier pour ces personnes qui ont besoin d'être fortifiées, qui ont besoin d'être renforcées, encouragées dans leur chemin vers Christ. Donc, c'est ça.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, wow.
This is so interesting. You inspired me.
Oh, wow.
Inspire to
Inspire to
inspire.
inspire.
I owe you something. So there's something you say there which I want to point on it again for the person because you didn't tell me. You were preaching me or you were telling me, but we're not doing this for just the three of us, right? We're doing this for everyone who is watching, who is going to watch this later, that it may help them, right? You said about how a person they see you in your past, right? Which is a big challenge. A person, they don't want to answer to the calling because they say like, oh, how about this? How about this? But what I want to tell somebody watching us, you're no longer in the old building. That building is destroyed. It's gone, right? There's something that I learned from a bishop. He said he was saying these days that the past, let it be your lesson, and the present, let it be your graduation, and your future, it's your opportunity, right? So your past, it's the lessons that you learned. You no longer use them as in to study, to know where, because you can't know where you're reaching if you don't remember where you came from, right? So use them as in for you to get the lessons, right? But again, let's right now for you to answer the calling be your what did I say? Let your present be your graduation. Let this presence, you answering the calling, let it be your graduation. In the future, what the future holds for you, your calling, you helping people, you answering to that calling. I like the way you said how you answer to the calling, and now you say like, now it's been like 100 people that you have helped in Rwanda. And I'm like, if you would not have answered to the calling, you were delaying those people to receive their healing. You were delaying those people to receive, so you too, you are delaying somebody else to get or to receive their blessings from something you have in you. So from now, it's not too late. Do not look yourself in the past. Just take the call right now. Answer to the call right now, and God is going to help you. Not that we were able to do it, but just the thing that accept the calling because you know who is calling you. You're trusting the author. So you said about something. And I like it. That's why I'm picking. I said you guys inspired me. That's why I want to pick it, Wow, it's going to stay here. And you said about how, and I've been thinking about that. We are not like the journalists, You know how these people work on TV, they're working for money. They're working for, for survival, for what? Or they are just doing whatever they're doing. They went in school to study that, it's their career, right? But we are not calling this as a career. This is a calling. So differ the career and the calling. You said about how a singer is different from a worshiper.
Yes, it's true.
Totally different. A singer may work for money, but a worshiper may work for money too. But the results after that. It's you see it in people, right? Both of them, the feedback is good, right? But you find that a worshiper is able or to touch somebody's heart. You know, they receive their healing or what, which is what I'm saying. What we're doing here, it's not a career. It's career and a calling. It's different. I was comparing that. You know, something might be a career, but it's not a calling. So do not confuse the two words. You know, if you have a calling and you answer it, then it's helping somebody. So for you to answer right now, for me to answer my calling right now, it's because I know it's not me. You said about how it's different from the people doing the TV. I thought about that one time when I even started, and when I got the name of the Inspire to Inspire Me, I just prayed, and God was able to reveal that to me in the dream. I got the name in the dream. I saw written Inspire to Inspire, and I'm like, When I woke up, I wrote it. But I was like, what is this? You know how you wake up, but the word kept coming in me. But when it was like 2 days when I wasn't even, I would sleep and the name would come back, and then that's how I got the name when God told me in the dreams that this is the name for the TV show. So what I was supposed to say is that you don't have to wake up and about the challenges. You don't have to wake up and maybe if you see an accident that has happened outside, I go talk about the accident. That's a journalist. That's what they do. It's a career, right? But in me, I have to take time. I have to take time. I have to pray because it's not me who is going to say, I'm just going to be like a vessel of God. To use me, I'm being like a mouth of God, you know, because I'm not saying this to get followers or to get people to watch me, to entertain people. I'm not entertaining people, you know, but I'm just being God because there's somebody who God want to touch through me. There are 100 people God wanted to touch through you, right? So don't care about who is watching you right now. Don't care about how many they may be. Just you care about what is the Spirit putting in your heart, you know? So that's what I wanted to say. It does not matter how much how many people it may be. Just you answer to the calling and keep going with it. All right, I don't know if you guys have something to say or an inspiration to give to people watching us right now.
I think we have said great advices to young people and older people who are watching us. It takes a lot of dedication as well, something that we need to put that into consideration, dedication and also sacrifice, because yes, we sacrifice our time to do the show. We find new topics, we pray, we even fast in order actually to receive a revelation. Like we really put our time and dedication and strength. So obviously the journey for you is not going to be easy. It demands a lot of time and dedication for you to do it. So all things are possible through Christ, honestly. So do not ne baisse pas tes bras, if I can say. Do not be discouraged, because there's going to be some moments where you're going to be receiving obstacles, some moments where you will see, but there's only this numbers of viewers who are watching me. Even if there's 15 people who are watching you, maybe among those 15 people, someone has been touched and really their life has changed. So really remember what are the things that you have been called, because your calling will be able to touch 100 people, like I touched 100 people and even more. Your calling might be touched 1,000 people, and Ernest's calling as well maybe touch the whole world. We never know. But because we have accepted, now it's part of us, it's part of our duty, and we need to do it until the end. And obviously, when God opens a door, there's other doors that He will open. So always be ready to receive those blessings.
All right. Thank you so much, and I hope everybody watching us, you were able to be inspired, and you are able now to take a decision. You said about how I give an example from the Bible. God left the 99, but He went just for one, right? It may be a lot, right? But you're like, oh, I don't want to leave this. But you remember that. Take an example, because we have to live a Christ-like life, So accept the calling no matter what. Don't give up to it, whether you meet those challenges. We all meet them. Not that everybody don't talk about all those challenges. It's not that we don't meet them. It's a lot. And the thing is, you have to be led by the Spirit, right? If you're not led by the Spirit, this is how God said, like, I'm leaving you with the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, to guide you. Then if you're not, yeah, you're going to be entertaining. You're going to be entertaining. You just need those people to watch you or what. But just, you have to pray, which what I say, I'm like, you need where you are and the time. So the time for you is just not counting the time you're doing something, but the time you're spending with God. And the time, which is like the quality time, right? It may be the time, but what is that time for you? What are you using it for? So if it's the quality time with God, God will be able to encourage you, will be able to tell you what to do, because you have the Spirit now. It's going to be able to lead you, to tell you what to do, so that because God is really targeting to the person, to that one sheep, that maybe it might be you, maybe it might be somebody else. You don't know that person. You don't know at all. The thing is, there's answer to the calling, because God already knows what's going to happen in the future. God already knows who to touch. You're not the one. This is why I'm saying that you answer to the calling and trust the process, which you always learn. Trust the process, right? The way may be too long, but it's just a step by step, which is one step. Take a step, answer the calling. And I'm sure next time we're going to talk about, should we say it, or it should be like a secret, right? A surprise.
Yeah, it's not going to be
We're going to
over.
have a part 2, and it's something so interesting, which I'm sure everybody's going to enjoy. If you tuned in today, make sure next time, share it to many people. They can know exactly what we were talking about today. Maybe we might be having a guest, or we never know. We don't want to say that. We know, but we don't want to say that. We just want you to be curious. Share the link, and so the next time it's gonna be something so interesting. And I'm so thankful, guys, for you to be here with me.
Thank you for the invitation. We are super happy to be part of Inspire to Inspire. It's actually the first time we have this collaboration. Huh?
Oh, I know, right? And it was so interesting. I got the time to know what's inside of you, what inside of her, you know, and it's through speaking, guys. If you have any question, feel free to send us on, you can either send it on my Instagram page, which is Bella Kavididi, or send it to the Table of Connection page. You can follow them also on Instagram and TV7 Family Channel. And we're so blessed to have you guys. And if you're watching this and maybe your surrounding was not good, the people you were hanging up were not good, you know, this is your right time to take a decision. This is your right time to know where you're going. This is the right time to know who is calling you, right? And be able to answer that. If you need prayers, if you need anything, any advice, you know, we've all been there, but those buildings, the old buildings that you feel like you want to quit, this is your time. And the only time you have is right now. It's not tomorrow. It's not after this hour. The only time you have is right now. So I don't know if the two women of God that I'm here with, they need to say something before we close.
Je pense que je vais juste ajouter quelque chose sur ce que Jessica disait, c'est ce que tu as dit, l'appel. Juste pour rappeler aux personnes qui nous suivent maintenant, je ne sais pas si vous vous rappelez quand Dieu a mis Adam et Ève dans le jardin d'Éden. Il y a une place que Dieu te met, quand Dieu te met dans la position dont il veut que tu puisses le servir, il te donne la provision. Donc, il y a des gens peut-être qui se demandent, mais Seigneur, si tu me mets là-bas, j'ai pas d'argent pour faire ça, j'ai pas de followers, j'ai pas de gens, j'ai pas de sponsors, comment je pourrais faire ça? Comment je vais commencer? Mais je vais juste te rappeler que quand Dieu te met dans une place, il te donne aussi la provision. Donc, il ne te laisse pas aller comme un brebis égaré. Il te dit, fais tout à ta manière. Non. Il te met dans la place. Il te donne la provision. En fait, ce que toi, tu dois avoir, c'est déjà l'objectif. C'est où que toi, tu dois te voir. Parce que, vous savez, oui, c'est vrai, les plans de l'Éternel, c'est ça qui s'accomplit dans nos vies. Mais c'est bon aussi que toi aussi, tu aies une image que tu te vois comment? Est-ce que tu te vois comme une femme d'affaires? Est-ce que tu te vois comme un homme d'affaires? Il faut que toi aussi, tu crées ce monde pour que ça puisse être réel. Donc, ça veut dire que il y a des gens peut-être qui ont peur de pouvoir accepter leur appel parce qu'ils disent qu'ils sont pas, comme nous parlons depuis tantôt, la qualification. Ils n'ont pas les moyens, ils n'ont pas ce qu'il faut. Mais en fait, tu as déjà ce qu'il faut parce que le Seigneur t'a déjà choisi. Il y a une parole que je partageais avec mes sœurs tantôt qui disait beaucoup ont été appelés, mais peu ont été élus. Donc déjà, le fait que toi, tu as été élu parmi beaucoup de jeunes, les membres de ta famille, tu es déjà qualifié pour pouvoir faire ce que le Seigneur veut que tu fasses. Donc ça veut dire le moment où tu es déjà qualifié, alors la provision viendra automatiquement. Donc ne te soucie pas de ce qui s'est passé dans le passé, comme Bella l'avait dit. On a tendance à vivre dans le passé. C'est ça qui nous ralentit. Et on voit notre passé comme notre présent. C'est ça qui fait en sorte qu'on est aveugle, on ne voit pas le futur. Donc, ne tardons pas sur ce qui s'est passé, et ne te dis pas que je vais le faire demain, c'est maintenant ou jamais. Donc, ce n'est pas à 21h, mais c'est maintenant. Quand tu nous regardes, prends la décision de pouvoir suivre et de pouvoir accepter finalement l'appel, ton téléphone qui est en train de sonner pour pouvoir voir la main du Seigneur dans ta vie. Donc, je pense que c'est ça que je pourrais ajouter pour finir.
Amen to that. All right. I think I've said thank you guys, but I need to say that again. Thank you guys for being here with me today. And next time it's gonna be, I think we can do that on the Table of Connection Day. They do their show on Tuesday at
3 p.m.
3 p.m. Eastern Time. And make sure, guys, every day, tune in, you know. It depends on location. So what are you doing? What are people you're hanging up with? So hang up with us on YouTube. And it's going to be, I'm sure it's a good moment. So next time we're having another part 2, which is so interesting. Make sure you don't miss out. And this was Inspired to Inspire, Bella's show. And we're grateful for you today. And have a blessed day and a great week. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.